Warm welcome. This is Marcus Termin at the 16th of February 2025. The moon is in the sign of Libra, the sun is in the sign of Aquarius. That's basically a trine. Most important thing is possible to have harmonic vibes. Having said this, we still have to look, and there was a question in the comments, on the close circumstances the moon in the sign of Libra does make a square to Mars in the sign of Cancer, and at the same time there is an opposition to Chiron, and Mars is retrograde. And let's have a look at the chart. You see it here. This is the moon in the sign of Libra. In my calculation, there's Lilith still in the sign of Libra. This is the opposition to Chiron, and this is the square position to Mars in the sign of Cancer. Now, what does that mean? Mars in Cancer is retrograde and decelerating, getting slower and slower until the 24th of February. Then he will turn back in direct motion. Mars is the one who opens up rooms. Some would say he's there for aggressiveness or for action or he's the warrior. This is all possible to say that, but to use the phrase of opening up rooms makes him more confident to special tasks in each sign, because not every sign is really aggressive, and Cancer actually is not aggressive. But as Mars is in Cancer and he's even retrograde, there's a contradiction in that, in between the how shall I say this? In German we have the word Eigenschaft. This is the abilities, let's say abilities of Mars in the sign of Cancer are absolutely fairly different to the abilities of Mars, for instance, in a fire sign. But Mars, as Mars is weak, he's not a good Mars in this sense, but a weak Mars. That's just like if you get in a quarrel, if somebody is weak, he might do actions out of desperation. And now Mars has the square position to the moon, which will happen today, and the whole day it's brewing up. But the aspect will be exact at around midnight, short before midnight European time. Moon is there to provide us with the necessary emotions and the necessary feelings. Moon in the sign of Libra has the same abilities as the sun actually in the sign of Libra, only it's a little minor and it's not controllable by daylight aware consciousness. The moon is the heritage. This is what we brought from old times, you could say so. And the moon in Libra has Libran abilities, which is balancing out things, looking at the beauty, being exact in the sense of measurement, because Libra is also the sign of measurement, so there's even a little science in there. And when moon goes with Lilith, it's always good for also illegal sideways. Think about the company, one of those pharmaceutical companies which is just discovered having hidden some DNA pollution in some of those vaxes and things like that. And the moon in the sign of Libra is a moon with the mood of having fun with things that can be played with. Moon in Libra likes to play, like to look at things of beauty, and he likes to be in company with that. The difference to the sun in Libra is that he doesn't have to be the boss in the field. Sun in Libra has to be the boss, Moon in Libra not necessarily. Now there's special circumstances. First, the first level is we have the square position Moon and Mars, and Moon is in opposition to Chiron and also to Venus in the sign of Aries. Now the Moon then, which is the next level of interpretation, is the governing planet of the sign of Cancer. That means that Mars in the sign of Cancer is being ruled by the Moon and is fully dependent of him. And this dependence evolves in a square aspect, which means there's some uncomfortable things about that. Think about the conference in Munich that we just had. You know, it was supposed to be all about defense and war and things like that. And then it turned out to be, oh, there's a democracy deficit. We're not doing what our people want, actually. So this is a surprise coming out of the square position of those two planets. But there are more things going on related to this. For instance, if somebody kills a family in Villach with a knife, you know, this is a weak Mars. This is a cowardly, weak Mars destroying families. Mars retrograde, for instance. Okay, we have the dependence of Mars, of Moon. Now, who is Moon dependent on? He's dependent on Venus. And Venus again is in the opposite side. Now, what does Venus depend on? Venus depends on Mars, because Mars is the one who rules the sign of Aries, and then you have the whole roundabout, the whole energy that is within this aspect. This is what it's about, you know. All of those figures depend on each other and make this square positions and this oppositions tight and important, and points to break things are within that, of course. Now that's one level to go to an interpretation. If you have this aspect in a personal chart, if you have a Mars and Moon square position in your native chart, you will have to find compromises in between what is what you want in the sense of satisfaction for your feelings, and what you want as satisfaction of your deeds, of your doings, of your will to catch out things out there. It's not a contradiction because it's not an opposition, but it scratches. It doesn't run smoothly. It's something that you will have to think about and that you have to find a solution for. The opposition will do the same, but the opposition is like a harsh order. You can't escape this opposition. You can't escape a square position too, but it's different. It's not on the highest level. The highest level is the opposition. The highest level of struggle with an aspect is always the opposition. Then, in addition to that, we have to take in consideration that all those signs being involved in this T-square, we call it a T-square position, are so-called cardinal signs. That means they are most important. None of them is ready to step back, you know. This is a situation of forces coming against each other. Nobody is really able to step back to take, for instance, the real step to open up negotiations, which I believe will happen when Mars is going to turn directly again. And having said that, my last take on that is that it's not an aspect of long duration. We have the Mars square position to the Moon twice a month, because this is the first square position, and when the Moon will be in Aries, he will have another square position. But all those aspects are always special because of the system of dependency on the other planets, which are the rulers of those signs. So every Mars, Moon, square aspect or opposition is a different thing. Now, if you have that in your personal chart, we can look it up. We can find out in what houses this square aspect will show up and how to deal with it and what's the best method to come over it and even to make creative, productive results of that, which is always possible. You can always decide to go interesting, new, creative paths. You know, astrology is not a damnation of you have this aspect and you can't do nothing about it and things like that. Okay, this is to the, you know, Mars and Moon, just to get a short formula. If you say Mars is the iron weapon, the knife even, you know, Mars is the warrior. Now the Moon is some soft energy, though it's the heritage, and though it's very important for us where the Moon goes or what the Moon does in our native chart, it's not the hard energy. So hard is contradictory to soft, and we have to find a way to satisfy ourselves with aspects like that. But this is the salt in the soup. You know, it's not overall negative. All right. Last, of course, the overall situation in between Sun and Moon. As I said, this is a harmonical trine, and this is a harmonical trine too. So we have an air trine over that. As you can see, the situation is complicated, and if you have astrologers who take a special view on this aspect a little more and also have their personal chart being involved. For instance, Neptune pretty often is something that astrologers have a wrong interpretation about because they are scared of the sign of Pisces, for instance. You know, Neptune is, for them, it's just negative. There's just a pollution outcome and things like that. Other astrologers, looking at their own chart, have a relaxed relationship to Neptune, for instance. So that makes differences. We have to look at your personal chart to see what does this aspect do first, and then second, this is just a daily aspect. This is one daily peak because the Moon is very fast, is very quick, and so this aspect might be of importance, but it's not of longer duration. Some words on astrology here on this Sunday. I'll be happy if you get in contact with me to make an astrological consultation. If you have a Mars-Moon square, for instance, this is the way to get in contact. And down here at my blog site, you will find the necessary conditions for a consultation. Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch, The Genius German Astrologer, at the 16th of February 2025.